Hey everybody, welcome back to Friday Night Behind the Lens. I'm joined again by Paul and Denise Compton, very graciously coming in for a part two. We had some technical problems at the end of our first meeting last week, so thank you guys very much for agreeing to come back and do this second part.
You're welcome. You're welcome, not a problem.
I didn't know about the technical problems, so I couldn't hear it on my end until I listened on playback, and we had a hum that just kept getting louder and louder and louder. But at the same time, both of our microphone volumes dropped. So when I would try to adjust our voice, higher.
I've only just started using this microphone. I had a big computer crash, didn't I, a couple of weeks that you know about.
Yeah.
And I'm back on the new computer with a new microphone. So it could be something at my end.
Well, so far so good. I don't hear anything. Oh, I didn't hear anything last week either. So, but I promise, if we have technical problems, we'll do this some other time. I'm not going to ask you for a third week in a row. So
I don't mind. Yeah, you carry on as many times as you like. It's not a problem.
But you're still in lockdown, so maybe this gives you something to do.
It does.
All right. So I think when we left off, we were I had asked you about you had just hit 200 videos in your vlogging style. So what I wanted to move into now, and plus you're at 5,000 subscribers. So my interview show here on Friday nights is really aimed at smaller YouTubers who, just try to get them some exposure for their channel. So you have the most followers of anybody that I've interviewed by far. So you're my first celebrity.
I'll take that.
So, I just wanted to know, is there, I know it's a tough question, but is there any advice that you can give to, the smaller YouTube channel photographers? Myself, I'm at about 270. I'm at about 275. And some weeks it stagnates and some weeks it grows by 10. But, you get that frustration because you work so hard on your vlog to get it out there, and then you don't get much of a reaction. So any kind of advice you can give us would be great.
It's a difficult one. I can't really give any advice. The only advice I can give is to do it for the right reasons. When I started off, I watched a lot of the big YouTubers, the Thomas Eaton, Nigel Damsons, Nick Page, Gavin Harcourt, guys like that, big YouTubers have been doing it for a long time. Have already got, a substantial amount of subscribers. And when I started, I wanted to start because it was more of a raw thing. I wanted to bring the truth and the reality back to vlogging, to give my side of it, because I couldn't, it was hard to strive to be them sort of thing. And it's no good trying to be someone that you're not. So I started off being me, and I didn't think I would get anywhere with vlogging at all. I'm an ex-Londoner. I'm very down to earth. I'm very straight spoken, and, a spade is a spade. And I think the truest thing that I can say to anyone is do it for the right reasons. If you're doing it to make big numbers, forget it. You're not going to do it. They're already there. Overnight, it doesn't happen overnight. You've just got to stick to what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, and just keep producing and producing. A couple of things, I'm trying to remember what we spoke about last week and where we got up to, where we had the issue. But I remember saying last week that if you're someone trying to be something you're not, people will see through that. So if you're going on, if you're new to photography, don't come onto the vlogging scene, I'm using f8 because of this, I'm using this because of this, because people that have any knowledge will see through that. So you won't gain their favor. And then people that are new to photography, you're almost leading them astray a little bit. So just be you. I mean, I've got a lot of years of photography behind me, and I've still got a lot to learn. You're always learning as you're going along, but the basics and fundamental part of photography, I knew. So I was quite confident to talk about my f-stop and why I'm using f8, not just the fact that everyone else does, but, I'm using it to get a depth of field, and I know that 5.6s and 5.1s and 4 f4s are going to give you a shallower depth of field. So I already knew that. And I'm not one that works on the magic triangle. I pick up my camera and I use it. I'm not worried about the mathematics side, but I know that if I have to increase my ISO, I have to adjust my f-stop, my aperture and my shutter speed, so I already know that sort of basics on it. The compositions and things you can work on. But yeah, advice for photography, if you're getting into vlogging and you're interested in vlogging, do it for the right reasons. Do it because you've got something to offer somebody, and just stick to your guns. Don't try and be anybody you're not. And collaborations are always good. I remember that's probably the best part of advice I can give you. If you can get hold of someone that's willing to do a collaboration, and I will, you know, if you want to do a collaboration with me, I don't mind. I'll have a go. It's how I started off. I got a couple of collaborations with other people, you know, back at the beginning, and it's just a way of introducing you to a slightly bigger audience, yeah, a better audience or a bigger audience. So it does, things like that do help. But yeah, there's no real advice that I can give apart from just keep going and keep going, which is basically what I did, kept going.
I think we said though as well before, didn't we, that your subscribers, they're going to subscribe to you for their own personal reasons. Yeah. So the Canon users, I think we've already said this before, the Canon users will, when you were with Canon, you know, they subscribe to you because of that. Fuji, now you've swapped over to Fuji, they will sort of watch his vlogs and, you know, and kind of get advice and tips and everything else about Fuji cameras. Other people just want to watch the vlogs for locations, areas, you know, things like that. Everybody has their own kind of, you know, their own agenda, if you like, why they want to subscribe to you. Some perhaps just want to watch it because you're funny. Yeah. You know, you're quite comical.
I must just on talking there is something that cropped up. I remember thinking this a while back, and I know other vloggers have joked and made fun about this. Gavin Hardcastle, he's a perfect example. He's actually got himself one at the moment. Get yourself a dog.
Yes.
If you get a dog in your videos, it's going to do well. If you can't get a dog or you're not into animals and things like that, get your wife in there. You know, I'm sure most people watch me because, you know, they're expecting to see Mrs. C up to her antics and stuff like that, or picking on me. So yeah, there's a good bit of advice. Get yourself a dog or get yourself a wife or a partner in there.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Do you see any uptick in your views when Denise appears versus when she's not in it?
Definitely gets more views.
Yeah. And if you're going to use that magic clickbait, if you put her on the thumbnail, you definitely get more hits on the channel. Whether they're watching it or not, I don't know, but you definitely get the viewing rates do come up. So yeah, put yourself a woman on there, even if she's got no relevance to your photography, and people will have a look just for the sake of it. And that's shallow, isn't it? It really is shallow, but it's just unfortunately it's life, and it's the truth. That's what happens, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I told you, I take my wife along when I can, when she has time to go. And it never fails that she gets more comments than I do. You know, oh, you know, Joanna stole the show again. You know, and that's always the comment. And I'm sure it's the same for you.
The picture's really good. You know, unfortunately, she beat you this time. I'm like, what? You know, where's the competition? But yeah, definitely, yeah. So there you go. That's good advice for new people.
Denise, what's your best advice for new vloggers, YouTubers?
I always... Right at the very beginning, Paul used to watch a few vloggers over here in the UK, and there was a few in particular that were, you know, sort of really bubbly, flamboyant, and wow, isn't this brilliant? There's a few vlogs where it started creeping in when he was being a little bit, and I was like, whoa, stop, that's not you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or just always be yourself as well, because then that's one less thing to worry about. Yeah, you know, when you're trying to put together all your videos. And I mean, the big thing that I've sort of talked to Paul about as well is don't put yourself under pressure. You don't need a perfectly tailored video that's got things flying in, flying out, music's immaculate and everything else. That takes the fun out of it. Takes the fun out of the photography. And you know, the more you put pressure on yourself to have to put out this fine-tuned vlog with all singing and dancing, no, it stops being a hobby. Then it becomes a little bit of a chore.
It kind of ruins the fun. Yeah,
I think one of the things as well is if people are starting out and they're new to vlogging and stuff like that, just to, you know, and they're stressing over the numbers and why aren't I growing, take a step back and ask yourself, why are you doing this? Yeah, I mean, I started it, like I say, I had a reason to start it because I wanted to show a different side of vlogging. I introduced Denise into it as well, you know, and she was part of the vlog, the channel.
I just since then
we've had, you know, there are a couple of other people that's got partners and things in their videos, but we were quite unique apart from, I think, Sam and Hannah Bowes. Yep. I think they were the first people that I noticed as a couple, you know, bloggers, or landscape vloggers anyway, especially in the UK. But yeah, ask yourself why you're doing it. Are you doing it because you need to make videos? I started, apart from the reasons I've said, I also started because I'd given up the camera club. I'd been in the camera club for 12, 15 years, and I was shooting for a judge for that. And I needed something else to fill my time. And Denise knew I needed something. And I didn't, in my wildest imagination, ever think it'd be videoing, because I've got no idea what I'm doing behind this scene. You know, when I'm sitting here, I'm really winging it, you know, but obviously you watch my videos, you know what they're like, and I'm sure they're fine. But they're definitely no epic film sets. But I'm losing my string a little bit, like I normally do.
I know when he's losing his train of thought.
But yeah, just try and ask yourself why you're doing it. If it's impeding on your photography, then you're not doing it for the right reason. I always take an image, I always get an image, and I go out in any conditions, and I enjoy that. And I also enjoy the video side of it, because it's not all about the photography for me now. It's about the whole package of being able to pass it on to everybody. And I love the response and the comments and things like that. So that's why I do it. So yeah, if it's impeding into your photography, if you're not as comfortable as doing it, then maybe you're looking at doing it for the wrong reasons.
Well, I think when I first started watching you, like Denise said, everybody has their own agenda or their own reason why they watch certain vloggers. And I watched some of the other bigger ones too first. But I really like the way it just feels like you're there with you, you know, like if you're climbing up a hill, you hear you huffing and puffing and struggling to get up there. And I'm the same way, you know, you know, I'm not even sure I could do those hills. You know, I'm a flat land boy here. But I've seen you in rain and fog and snow, and, you know, it just feels like just kind of a real, it's raw and it's real.
Percentage of people, say that they feel like they're on the adventure with us, they're out with us, and that's quite endearing. I quite like that, because that's the whole point. That's why I do ramble on and waffle on and show you sort of all the behind the scenes, if you like. I mean, I've had people say, "Oh, can you do behind the scenes video?" No, you're seeing it.
About 2 hours long.
You're getting it. You know, you get everything. So yeah, that's exactly
So you've been in lockdown. This is lockdown number 3 for you, and you've been in lockdown for since right after the first of the year. So you haven't been anywhere in quite a while.
Nope.
You've actually run low on videos now, haven't you? So
I have, yeah.
He's not got much in the way of material at the minute. So,
well, I see that map behind you, and I'm sure that helps planning out where you're going to go. So where is the first place you plan on going when lockdown is lifted? Assuming you got out of like the tier system and all that.
Yeah, if all the 3, you know, parts, England, Scotland and Wales, we're all going at the same time. Scotland, I want to get up to Scotland. I'd actually put a post on my Facebook group this morning asking where people want to go, and I think my first one is if I can get up to Scotland and get up to the Isle of Skye, I'd love to do that, because I want to see their mountains. If not, I'm happy to get into North Wales. You know, North Wales is just astonishing, you know, it really is.
We were actually going to do a challenge, weren't we, in June of last year? The Lighthouse Challenge.
Yes, we were. Yeah,
we were supposed to be. There was 3 of us. We were going to get together and do the sunrise
on the northeast coast of Scotland with Kim Grant.
Yes,
we're going to meet up with her, and we're going to do sunrise. We were going to drive down to England and do a midday sort of not sunrise, but a midday shoot with the next lighthouse, St Mary's Lighthouse. And then we we're going to drive over to the west side of Wales and do another lighthouse with Jason Jones. So I was going to do 3 lighthouses, 3 vloggers, all in the same day, sunrise to sunset. So that was the plan to do it. So I wouldn't mind trying to do that this year if I can get a chance.
That'd be quite a day, wouldn't it? I mean,
it would be a long day.
500 about 500 odd miles.
It's going to be quite a long day.
Yeah. I mean, the UK and Florida are pretty much the same size as far as land. I mean, but you know, I think you could do it because you know, width wise, it's not. You know, I can drive to the other side of Florida in about 2 hours.
I'll pick midsummer, so yeah, we'll have a long time to do it. So yeah, I reckon it can be done, but we just got to tee up with those vloggers and stuff like that. But yeah, my first port of call hopefully will be Scotland, Isle of Skye, if I can.
Okay. What about other bucket list places? Because I asked you that last week as well. You mentioned Isle of Skye, but what else? Where else haven't you been that you'd like to go?
For me, I've not done a lot I've done most of the places in the UK. There's not a lot of the UK I haven't seen. So yeah, I've done most of that. For me, bucket list has got to be Iceland. And I remember saying to you last week, Iceland, because I don't feel like I'm a true photographer until I've been there. You know, every landscape photographer has to go to Iceland, I feel. And yeah, I'd just like to go and have a look for myself and see it. And it's so different in so many different locations, and it's so vast.
Yeah.
I'm down for the Faroe Islands this year. We didn't make it last year, so yeah, that's still top of my list to get back over there. If we don't make it in April because of obviously the situation we're in, then we may have to call it off or postpone it again to next year. It just depends on what we can do with that one.
Is that a difficult? I'm sorry to interrupt. Is that a difficult place to get to, the Faroe Islands? Because I know from here it is quite the trip to get there.
Yeah, we've got to do 3 flights to get there. So yeah, it's not the easiest. I think there's a more direct flight, but it's a lot more expensive to do. So yeah, we have to do 3 flights to get into it.
Yeah, we my wife and I had a camper van, 2-week camper van trip to Iceland scheduled in March of last year. And we were going to sleep in the camper and just drive from site to site, day to day. And about a week before we were supposed to go, everything shut down and everything got canceled. So yeah, I understand Iceland and definitely wanting to go there. Yeah,
I'll take Norway or Canada or anything like that as well. The Rockies, yeah, I'll take any of them. And I think if I remember right, I mentioned last week as well that I'd had this idea it was last year. I had this idea, and I don't think any vlogger's ever done it, where we do like a swap or a share. So if there's vloggers or photographers that want to see the UK that haven't been, I'm quite willing to chaperone you, take you around to some of the places I've been or seen or done. If you want to do likewise, if you've got an area, wherever it is, whether it's Africa, Norway, Iceland, Canada, any location, there's hundreds and thousands of locations. If you've got a place that I can get to and I can afford to come to you, if you're going to put me up for a few days, show me around, we'll do a swap and we'll look after each other. That was a plan I had last year. I've not seen any vloggers or any photographers do that yet.
I haven't heard that from anybody yet, but that's a fantastic idea. I mean, what about you, Denise? I know you don't go out on every single adventure with Paul, but is there any place that he's been that you haven't been that you'd like to go?
Fairy pools. You told me off, didn't you? Because I went to the fairy pools with Simon and Owen.
Oh, no, Fairy Glen.
Fairy Glen.
Fairy Glen. Yeah, in
Why
North
did you
Wales.
go without me?
One of the places that I've seen so many photographs in it. It looks sort of like really mystical and a bit like King Arthur and a bit kind of that kind of feel to it and everything else. And he went with his friends. I was at home and he went with his friends, didn't take me.
He's shaking his head no.
Yeah, apparently it's a little bit dodgy, a bit of a dodgy place to get to.
But you'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm just not very good on rocks because I think I said last time when we went to the Isle of Mull, I slipped on a rock, cut my head open, so I'm very, very wary. So, and I fell in a river as well, slipping on a rock. Shot the camera straight up in the air, fell in the river. So I had this, just went through a phase of falling. All silly places.
Where is that Fairy Glen? Where is that at?
It's in North Wales.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, North Wales.
Betsy Coed.
Near Betsy Coed. So
it's not too far from you. You said just a little bit hard to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not even hard.
It's just a bit of a scramble.
Yeah, the actual walk down to the actual glen is quite slippy. The steps and rocks, and when you get down there, it's very green and wet. So yeah, it's quite a slippy place to be. Yeah. But she'll be all right. I will take her this year. If we
I
get
just
going,
want to be airlifted down and then hoisted back up again. That'll do me.
Yeah, we already established that you don't like hills and going up the hills.
No.
I enjoy getting to the top. I feel like I've really accomplished something, but actually walking up there, I'm like, oh, why am I doing this?
I think I mentioned the last interview that nobody's going to see, but one thing that impresses me about you is that you guys use walkie-talkies and things like that, because you do get to some fairly dicey places, right? And the safety that you put into it kind of impresses me too. And that's something that I don't see on other vloggers' channel. I'm not saying that they're not safe, but you kind of display and talk about the safety part of it a little bit more.
That one of the things, like if Paul's going out on his own, or if he's going out with his friends and I'm at home now, we use the app, the what three words. So wherever he's parked or where he's going to be climbing, walking, whatever else, so that if anything happened or if he didn't turn up home, at home, I know roughly where he is, so I can.
See, I don't know that app. Does it give you like a GPS location of where you're at, or just a place?
It actually pinpoints
all over the world
to about
within 3 meters, I think it is. Within 3 meter squares, the whole world's been mapped out in 3 meter squares. So as you open the app up, it will come up with 3 words, and that 3 words is just on those 3 meter squares wherever you are. So it will locate you anywhere in the world, and that's pretty much right to where you are.
And for the people that are watching that don't know the app, what's it called again?
What 3 words?
What 3 words? Okay.
Yeah, we've actually used it. We broke down somewhere once, right in the middle of nowhere. Managed to get a phone signal to call the AA, to let them know that we'd broken down. Used the what 3, and they could pinpoint us to the actual bridge that we were parked on.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing. Really, really good app.
Very, very good app. Yeah.
And it works in even remote places that you're at?
Yeah.
So far, yeah. I think you need, whether it works off a GPS or whatever it works off your phone. Everywhere I've tried to use it, it's worked so far. So yeah,
that's great. That gives you a little bit of peace of mind when you're out there too, especially if you're out alone.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Absolutely. I mean, other than that, the radios. If you're going off on your own, you should have a GPS system anyway. I don't have one, but I've had plenty of people comment on my videos saying, why don't you carry a GPS? And I think it's just because you have to subscribe to it. You have to pay that monthly subscription, and if you're not pulling in a lot of funds, for the videos and stuff, it's hard to add those funds to it. £5 here or $5 here, $10 there. It all adds up at the end of the day. Sure. Yeah. But we do, when we're out together, we have the radios. Even if Denise is in the van, my little radios, the little ones I have on my shoulder, they work for about 4 miles. So as long as you're not hidden the other side of the mountain, they work really well. Because I've had a couple of dicey times where I've nearly ended up in bog and stuff like that, and it's at least if I get stuck I can shout back. And even if Denise isn't with me, the radio's still on my shoulder. Not like I'd be able to go and dig him out. I'd be like, dig him out. What? Yeah, you got in there, you get out. Well, I can use what 3 words and say, please, my husband's stuck in the bog, can somebody come please dig him out? Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, if the radio's on you, and even if Denise isn't with me and no one's got a radio that I know, if you've got a radio and you can shout out on all the channels, I think it's 16 channels, that little one I've got, maybe someone will hear you somewhere. So it's just a little bit of peace of mind. But I am by no far as risky or adventurous on my own when he's on his own as I am when I've got someone with me. I think it's a silly thing to do, take risks when you're on your own. No, I think that's exactly right. I mean, we have the Everglades here in the swamp. I don't go out there alone just because you never know what could happen, and there is no signal out there. There's no cell phone signal, so it's good to have somebody with you, or let them, but I'm glad you mentioned that app, because I've never heard that personally. Maybe everybody else has, but I have not. So appreciate you passing that along. It's only the last 6 months or so that I've been using it, but I think it's Mr. Ben Harvey. I got it off of him on one of his videos, because I watch as many vloggers as other people watching me. Sure. And yeah, I thought that was a really good idea, and I was giving it in some of my videos. I put in my location to where my tripod is. This is the tripod. If you want to come and set your tripod here, that's the location. Maybe not all the time, because sometimes I forget, and you're wandering off on other things. But yeah, no, it is a good little app. Tell me, we touched on it, I think, a little bit earlier in the first video. We talked about your workshops being basically shut down by COVID. But can you describe a little bit of a day out with one of your workshops? What's involved and what goes along with booking a Paul Compton workshop? I was never into the idea of doing workshops. That wasn't my plan. It's not my business, is it? I do this as fun. This is I've got a full-time job as Denise. So yeah, they actually asked me, do I do workshops? I'm like, no, not at all. Why? He said, well, I think you'd be really good at it. You seem like you're really down to earth, easy to get on with and stuff like that. I said, right, okay then. So, but we organised a workshop together. I had to find a bit of a pricing and stuff like that. And I just basically took him out. I got an idea of what it is he was interested in doing, because everyone's obviously different. They've all got the different, some people want to go out and just see the locations. Some people want to go out and learn. Some people just haven't got a clue, so there's a wide variety of different people. And I remember this guy, and the funny thing with me, I asked him to set his tripod up on the hill. It was a really steep bank, and I wanted to try and get the tree just set in the right position. And I stood on this bank, and we were trying not to slip down. I said, set your tripod up on there. I turned around and he hadn't set it up. And I'm looking at him thinking, why haven't you set your tripod up? That was a really easy question. Set your tripod up there. He hadn't ever thought of how to set a tripod up other than stood up straight. He didn't even know you could. Same length on all three legs. All legs were the same length as far as he was concerned. He never actually used a tripod properly and set it up with a leg one longer than the others. And it blew my mind that there's people even with the slightest little things like that. And again, yeah, so that's basically what I do in my workshop, is stay down to earth and try and find out what it is you want. Up to last year, I changed my website, and I'd had some suggestions from a couple of people. Have I ever thought about doing like photo walks and things like that? Because other people don't do it. A workshop's a workshop and that's it. And I thought, well, do you know what? That's not a bad idea. So I was trying now to put out, I've got 3 different ideas. A one-to-one workshop, which is, like I said, depend on what your needs are, where you want to go, what you want to get up to. And that's basically one-to-one or one-to-one-to-one, you know, if Denise is with us.
Right.
I just bring the sandwiches.
She brings the sandwiches and the cakes. But, you know, some people might want to, you know, they want to spend some time with Denise, you know.
Well, she is the star.
Of course, yeah. No, but if, you know, there's women there could be women out there that are intimidated. I know I've got a couple of contacts about, you know, doing workshops, and having Denise round is good. You know, it gives that feedback, and people can bring their partners, and it's nice for Denise to be able to talk to them while I'm dealing with, you know, if it's guys that are taking photographs. You've had that a couple of times, haven't we, where you sort of looked after partners and that. But then I'm doing these photo walks as well now, whereas you can just come out and join me for the morning. You know, you don't have to be there on a workshop as such, but come out and join me for the morning. I'll do all the legwork, and obviously you know, ask questions and things while we're out anyway. So I've sort of modelled sort of 3 different styles. You know, like a day out with us, a morning or an evening, and then the proper one-to-ones, as well as group workshops. I've done a couple of group workshops, and that was I quite enjoy them. I must admit, they're quite nice.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It is, yeah.
You've done one with Jason as well.
Yeah, we did one with Jason Jones, another vlogger. And,
but then you did photo editing and things in the evening as well.
The difference with the way I've organised it, and I want to organise them for when we get back onto organise them, is a lot of all the ones I see online are a hotel and you have a room. What I've done in the past, and what I had to cancel them last year, is I hire a property. So we've got a big chapel over in
through Airbnb,
big chapel that sleeps, I think it was 9 or 10 people. So depending on whether you're couples or singles and stuff like that, I'd balance out the rooms. But it's more of a community. When you're with me, it's more like a day out. Whether it's a workshop or not, it's more like a day out. It's more like very down to earth, very much more fun and adventure orientated. So we sort of all together in the, you know, in the apartment, in the accommodation and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different to your average sort of, you're in a room and that's where you are in the evenings. Maybe you're sitting in a communal room.
There's no escape.
There's no escape. It just brings it makes it more personal, I think. You know, I can't get away and people can ask you questions, and, you know, we're cooking for each other, and it's just a general laugh, really, to be honest.
That's great. It sounds like a lot of fun, because the idea of workshops always didn't turn me off, but it just seemed too structured when I kind of want to just go see the location and have a little bit of fun and see something that I had never done before. So I don't want it to be just such an itinerary all day long, you know? Yeah,
and that's what I was suggested, which is why I thought that's a good idea to sort of put something like that out there. You know, you can just come out for the day and we'll have a go. And if you're like, well, I'm stuck on this setting, all right, coming up, you know, or what do you think of the composition? And you just a bit of guidance there. So yeah,
that's great. Do you have it set up now that they can book through your website? But I know you can't now because of lockdown. But
yeah, the website's active, so you can pre-book time. You know, I've got a few already pre-booked time with us, so that when we get out of lockdown, they sort of got first refusal on dates and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all active. Or people can just contact me through the website, you know, and just ask any questions. You know, I'm interested in doing this, that, and the other. You know, what do you think and when do you think? You know, so yeah, I'm pretty open, pretty down to, you know, ground level. It's not a business. It's not something I have to do officially. You know, everything's to the T. I'm adaptable, you know, and I like it like that. I like being adaptable, more like a mate going out for photography rather than, you know, we're going to go and do this and study that, because I think that's, like you say, it can get a bit boring, you know, unless you're into that.
What is the website address?
Paul Compton, pdphotography.co.uk.
PD is in Paul and Denise.
That's it. Yeah, we were asked many times, why is it PD? And like, hello. Yeah. PD as in Paul and Denise Photography.
And what other social media are you on right now? I think you're on Instagram,
Facebook, Flickr. I'm not sure whether all my stuff's up to date. If you want a good Flickr account, I can recommend, yeah, check out Denise's Flickr. I've flicked through it myself a few times. I'm like, wow, they're really good. It really does stand out and jump out to you. So Denise's Flickr is quite a good one to have a look at.
And do you have a Facebook group?
I've got the t-shirt on at the moment, Landscape Vlogtography Adventures. And we've even been drinking out. Look, I've even got a mug and everything with it on, you know, don't mess around, I know. Yeah, I started the group off because I wanted to just introduce other people into photography that, you know, we got on. I do a lot of normal meetups as well. We just, a big group. I mean, the biggest one was 20 odd people we had beginning of last year, wasn't it? That was a massive group of people just all turned up on the day. I'm like, oh my God, what do we do with all these people? We've got 4 waterfalls to get around and people were everywhere. But it was just a good crack, a good day out. So I started off the group for that. And it's not a vloggers group and it's not a photographers group. It's a bit of everything and anything. So yeah, we like to share stuff. We put competitions on, not so much competitions,
but challenges and things on,
yeah, we try and keep people inspired. It's a really good friendly group. We're over 700 members at the moment. So yeah, it's quite good and very friendly.
All right, well, I'm going to link all your social media sites below in the description. So, you know, for those of you who don't follow Paul, just go hit those links and hit follow, like, subscribe, whatever. Certainly not going to be disappointed in his work or, you know, just the fun of the YouTube channel. You know, that's my favorite part is the realness of it and the raw and just how much fun you seem to have. But I always see you with your jacket and, you know.
Well, that's because we work full time. You know, I'm at work from Monday to Friday, same as Denise is. So when the weekend comes along, we've got Saturday and Sunday to go out. And whatever the weather is, I'm going out, you know, because that's the only opportunity I've got. So I'll make the most of that. And like you say, a lot of people won't even bother. And I can always come away with an image. There's always something to take.
Always.
It might not be a portfolio. It might not be award winning. It might not turn any heads. But I will come away with some photographs.
And there's no bad weather, just bad clothing.
Bad clothing. That's right. Yeah, I've learned that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on part 2. I really appreciate you taking your time out for a second week in a row. Doesn't sound like we've had any technical issues, but again, I didn't know till afterwards last week anyway. So fingers crossed for that. But thank you all both very much. And you know, Denise, Paul invited me over for a cup of tea next time I'm over. It's just so you know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and some cake.
Yeah, and cake.
And I do drink tea, so but not in Florida because it's just far too hot here to ever have tea. So, but over there, I drink it like it's water. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again both very much. I really appreciate your time and all the information that you shared with my viewers, and hopefully some of your viewers check it out too. And yeah, thank you all guys very much. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Ciao for now. Bye-bye.